Okay, so we have started our translation on Facebook, on Instagram and VK, in all of these networks. So you can access this conference on Instagram, and we are about to start. Moderator 1, Moderator 2, are you ready? Я в эфире? Dear friends, dear colleagues, students, professionals, and those who love fashion. I'm sorry for these technical difficulties, but for us it's the first time that we are connecting to different countries, different audiences, and it's the first time that we have such an online discussion. Today, my colleague and I, Ekaterina Prozorova, and I will be moderating the session, and we will do it throughout this session. So let me introduce myself. I'm Lyubov Dzikia, professor of St. Petersburg University of Technology and Design, member of the Union of Artists, and a member of the jury of the International contest. And I am involved in the Russian-Finnish project. And Ekaterina Prozorova, designer, candidate of cultural studies, and I represent the Russian St. Petersburg University of Technology and Design, and I'm a concept person for the Russian-Finnish project. Dear friends, today it's the first time that we are trying to use this program, and it's a new format for us. It's an online discussion, and we have invited, for these 2 hours of our session, we have invited quite a lot of people. It's not just renowned specialists in the world of design, but they can be called gurus. Those are people who are very significant in the world of fashion. They have done a lot in upbringing our new cadres. Today we will be speaking about the following topic. We are going to speak about the humanistic values in the world of fashion. This week, our University of Industrial Technologies and Design has been involved in this discussion, and during our discussion you will have this chance to ask questions to our respected experts from different countries, and you can prepare your questions right now. We will give your questions to our speakers, and as well our experts will answer your questions at the end of our session. So please be active, be creative, and let it be a discussion. Now I would like to say a couple of words about why we decided to gather here. We are living through a very difficult period of this self-isolation, and this is the situation all over the world, and of course it has affected the fashion industry. We have to think about relaunching the whole thing, as the chief editor of Vogue magazine said. So, what is going on in the world of fashion? Boutiques are closed, there are no shows, and the Armani Group said that all of these factories will pass to producing masks, medical masks, instead of clothes. In France, Louis Vuitton
объявила о
Group
производстве 50 тонн
declared
санитайзеров
that
в
they are
неделю.
going to produce 70 tons of sanitizer per week. And these will be produced at factories where cosmetics used to be produced before. And now Ekaterina is thinking about this situation. Well, for us, it is very important at this moment to get active and create new forms of cooperation so that we develop our culture, so that our culture keeps on living. So we have a sort of a lab, a project lab initiated by the University of Technology and Design. And we also cooperate with the as Lee Edelgard put it, after the pandemic, the world won't be the same again. And this will lead to economic and cultural consequences. On the one hand, this can give us some environmental benefits, but on the other hand, the economic conditions are quite severe, quite difficult, so some spheres may lack funds, may lack financing. As for the consumers, there are also quite big changes. All the processes in our life are being organized in a different way. The role of digital technologies is increasing, and the budgets are allocated in a different way. So we will discuss all of these issues during these 2 hours of our discussion, and our speakers will try to shed some light on these issues. This is the change of the philosophy of life. This is the quarantine of consumption, and those are new codes and new patterns of our everyday life. Okay, so let us introduce the participants of our discussions. Who is our first speaker? Let me introduce our experts. Irina Karimova, Moscow, Russia, head of the Fashion Education website and School of Journalistic, and winner of the journalistic contest. Unfortunately, we cannot applaud since we are online. So let's pass to the next speaker. This will be Natalie from Rome, Italy, who has been cooperating with renowned figures in the world of fashion and creator of her own author seminars that were held in many, many countries across Europe. So Natalie has been a participant of our contest, the Admiralty Needle, for many years. Then we have Sirpa Rinanen from Finland. Sirpa is involved in digital design of clothes and a member of the Finnish Association. Together with Sirpa, we have been implementing very interesting projects involving students, and Sirpa is a very unique expert in the field of design.
И
Uh,
Люба Попова,
and Luba
это
Popova
Милан, Италия,
from Milan,
профессор
Italy,
истории теории моды, новое
a
направление для
historian of fashion
НАБА, модельер, художник по
and
развитию специалист моды,
modeler, mm,
автор и координатор различных международных проектов,
author of
и
very
конференций
interesting
и
projects,
международных конкурсов
and
дизайна
participant
одежды.
of the jury of international contests.
Внедрила учебные программы по дизайну одежды в университетах Мексики, Центральной и Южной Америки.
Her projects have
Создавала
been
картины
presented in
конкурсы различного
universities
склада.
of Southern America,
Можете
such
сказать,
as
пожалуйста, за
Mexico,
наш конкурс «Адмиралтейская игла»,
and
практически со дня его основания,
as
который
well,
проходил 3
she's
раза в течение
the member of the
4
jury of the
года
Admiralty Needle
нашей
contest, and
дискуссии.
she has
Также
been
сегодня
with
нам
this
будет
contest
помогать
since
Марина
the very
Тараканова,
start.
гражданский
And
журналист
as
Москва,
well, we will have
член
Marina
научного Высшей
Tarakanova.
школы кино и телевидения Останкино,
Uh,
экс-редактор английской службы новостей
she's
телеканала Russia Today.
she's from
И
Russia Today channel.
тогда мы начинаем, и сейчас
So
у нас
let
будет
us start.
выступать первая
The first
Ирина
speaker
Каримова.
will be Irina Karimova. Good afternoon, my friends. I'm very glad to be here and to greet you in our online conference. Many thanks to the organizers of this event. And the participants are really famous people, and I'm very glad to be among you, friends. So let's speak about this question. What will be our world like after this crisis is overcome? Sustainable fashion becomes a very important trend under this situation. It is what is sustainable fashion? This depends on our understanding, and I will start with this slide. And I think that there are answers to many questions presented here. So, what is it? What is trend watching? Is it guessing? Are these calculations or something else? We have mentioned that fashion trend bureaus across different countries of the world come to very similar conclusions, come to very similar patterns, and I think that it is not an accident. We are coming to some unified understanding, and I would like to speak about like how to yeah, there are some problems with the sound, sorry. Yeah, we will solve them shortly. I would like to speak about the book How to Research Trends, and this book is very important for everyone who wants to understand what fashion is about and what the future of the fashion will be like, how the economy will change with respect to fashion. All of these issues are covered in this book. We mentioned a macro trend. 1 year ago, it seemed like fiction. But still, we said that this is future. These are some glimpses of future in our present time. So when we say that AI is affecting the development of the economy, we could not even suppose that in April of 2020 um, we will be in this situation that we would leave our home using a digital pass and there won't be any other way to do it. It was unimaginable 1 year ago, but now it's our reality that these digital passes will be spread in different countries living in the new world. The environment is changing, the climate is changing, and this is what it is about. And we are to create this new world. We are to understand what its trends are, what we should pay our attention to. Let's pass to some practical dimension now. Here you can see a picture. I think that it demonstrates the latest trends. Here you can see these bigger architectural sleeves, a lot of printed flowers, and the clothes are covering a person. This is this wish of a person to get covered. We have started to try to protect ourselves from some infection, yeah, which is not studied, it has not been studied to the end. There is a lack of understanding of how the world will evolve, and that's why classics are coming back. This is a sort of aristocratic classics. And this is what becomes trendy. A lot of analysts spoke about it, coming back of classics. Because look, at the next slide, this is fall and winter. Here you have leather, which is protection, which is defense, and which is aggression. We are facing a threat. So let's look at summer now, spring and summer. Look, there are a lot of bright outfits, neon lights, a lot of very interesting combinations of colors. So one of the very interesting trends is that there are a lot of glasses being used. So since we have time, and another trend are knitted outfits. So when you have time, you have to knit something for you, maybe. Let's come back to this slide. Fall and winter. So here you have imitations. Yeah, the sound cannot be heard. So what helps us to withstand this aggression? A lot of knitted outfits, a lot of fabric, And you see, these clothes are a little bit oversized. And another trend which I would like to focus on, yeah, I have already mentioned that instead of leather gloves, now we have disposable gloves. But look, still there are so many types of different gloves. So gloves are in trend. And since we have this wish, this desire to protect ourselves, look what sort of footwear we use. Fashion analysts, trend analysts say something with the doubt, but designers are sort of faster. They embody these trends in their new collections. I mean this trend to get closed by your clothes, to get protected. And you may be surprised if I say that this collection, this slide, comes from 2017. So it was that time that this trend already started. Now I would like to mention Lee Edelcourt, a trend hunter who speaks about how the world will change after the COVID-19. She thinks that it's a global problem and it makes us review our values. The most important thing that I would like to draw your attention to in her speech um, is that we will start to revise our wardrobe. We will try to value our old outfits. As we are coming back to valuing our close people. And the fashion industry will also change due to the changes taking place in China. Here, there are some quotes from Forbes magazine, and I would like to draw your attention to two of these important comments. So, so we have to understand what is going to know what is going on, but we don't have to respond to it emotionally. We don't have to burn ourselves by this emotional reaction. Now we are communicating online, and this online communication replaces other communications, but maybe when the pandemic is over, a lot of online forms will stay, will persist, and the world won't be the same. I'm sure about it. So let's speak about conclusions. First of all, what do we see in new collections? That's aggression and defense, and the desire to close yourself, to close your face, to close all your body from the world, from the unknown threat. And in this world, we need to sustain using our inner world, our inner values. And the representation of these inner values in fashion are knitted clothes, so something traditional, something real. And I would say that these trends are global. They won't go away fast. They will stay for quite a while. And as for new values, the most important ones in this new world are the health and the well-being of our close people. As well, speaking about trends, we have to mention that our clothes get more rational and more sustainable. So we will have less clothes, but like better clothes. The concept of reuse, reduce, recycle becomes very topical. Another important thing is relocation of production facilities. They get out of China and develop in countries where they did not exist for many years. This is good because it reduces the load on logistics, on transport. And for France and Italy and England, it's a chance to get back the production, to have it back in their countries where some productions developed. For Russia, it will also become a powerful stimulus. And the last thing that I would like to mention is the new role of the home space. And the role of the home clothes. So your home clothes should be comfortable both for having rest and working, since we are working from home. And let me show you my last slide. On the left, you can see summer of last year, 2019. And here you can already see that the role of our home as the place where we store our energy is growing. So you see some collections related to passing time at home, and on the right you have a collection that we use for work, and it can also be for working from home. So I would like to finish saying that the crisis is a time to get active. Crisis is a time to work and to implement our visions of this changing world. Thank you very much. So I would like you to connect with me. So if you have questions, if you have any comments, I will be glad to answer those. So here are my contacts. Thank you very much, and have a good session, and may everything be good with you.
Да, готово. Итак, дорогие друзья, ждем ваших вопросов.
Okay, dear friends, have you got any questions about the presentation? Marina Tarakano is going to ask some questions.
Да, добрый день.
Good afternoon. I would like to ask this question. Can we make this conclusion that glamour has become the thing of the past? Thank you very much for this question. Well, there are different opinions about it, but I think that there'll be some very big polarization. There'll be this luxury pole, and there'll be middle class, all of us, I mean. We have become a little bit economically tight. So I think that there'll be these two poles. Luxury sector will go on. And in this sector there will be changes as well, and As for the middle class, there will be these changes induced by the economic situation. There'll be a bias to getting high quality outfits, more high quality outfits. The fashion industry, all these news from China, well, they are about to open borders, and luxury stores, luxury boutiques are about to reopen. So I would say that this luxury sector is very protected. It has not been affected by the crisis as the middle class sector. But I think that there'll be more changes. There will be more changes in the middle class sector. Okay, so where is the fashion moving with respect to this division between the rich and the poor? Well, I don't like these words, the rich and the poor. In the fashion industry, we use such concepts as luxury market, as mass market. I think that people will be more conscious in their consumption. They will do with some limited amount of outfits, though they may have enough resources to afford more. Time will show, of course, this is not for sure, but this is what I think is the vector of the development. So we will soon go shopping for clothes, but probably we will have different feelings. Probably we will have different perceptions. This fear will not go away at once. It will for some time stay. So I think that these trends, these changes are to be studied not only by fashion specialists, but also psychologists. Thank you very much.
Я тут, да. Да. Я хотела бы поблагодарить
I would like to thank Marina and Irina,
прямо зачитать цитату,
and I would like to read one quote. It is the creative director of Gucci. Life is moving at a different pace now. Space is being in a different dimension. We are opening new values or reopening the old ones, and so this was the quote from Francesca Rizzo. Today, now Ekaterina will introduce the next speaker.
Алло, Екатерина, ты меня слышишь?
Екатерина, вы слышите нас? Екатерина, включите, пожалуйста, микрофон и камеру. Екатерина, модератор.
Ну,
Модератор 2. У вас камера сейчас вещает другая. Включите камеру другую. Екатерина.
Тогда я продолжу и слово предоставлю Натали фон Тойфенштайн, которая нам покажет, что такое.
Okay, now let us give the floor to another speaker, Natalie from Italy, Natalie von Teufenstein, and she will speak about the viral fashion, how coronavirus is remaking the industry. Okay, we have some technical difficulties, so we are
Мы,
waiting
дорогие
for the
друзья, мы
speaker
работаем в
to
таком интересном
open the
режиме, что у нас
presentation.
случаются некие технические сбои, поэтому пока я продолжу секунду и хочу сделать объявление для молодых и креативных дизайнеров, поскольку у вас еще есть время принять участие в нашем
So
виртуальном
while we are waiting,
онлайн-семинаре,
I would
который
like
называется
to make an announcement for young creative designers.
Вы
We
можете
are
всю
now
информацию посмотреть на сайте
continuing
конкурсных
our
мероприятий онлайн
contest
на
on
странице Инстаграм в любых соцсетях.
our
Участвуйте, потому что
Instagram,
финал
and you can
конкурса
take
будет
part.
5 мая, а подать
The
заявку вы
final of
сможете
this contest will
до
take
1 мая
on May the
2024.
5th,
Это все
and you
очень
can
интересно,
apply
оперативно, и у нас уже
before the 1st
выложено
of May.
хэштегом игла дизайн, нижнее подчеркивание
So this is this Admiralty
очень
Needle
идет публикация,
contest,
и мы надеемся, что
and
вы ответите
we
тоже.
welcome your
Ну, я так
creative
понимаю,
presentations.
что уже спикер у нас томится,
Okay, so I think that
поэтому
our
мы
speaker
с
is
тобой сейчас
ready.
запускаем
Let
видео.
us
Натали,
pass
плиз.
to her presentation.
Good afternoon. I will speak about viral fashion, how coronavirus is remaking the industry. As you can see, in the 18th century, painting by artist Pietro Longhi, these masks are worn in an occasion of a party. Longhi used to portray the Venetian upper class life with great refinement and gaiety. Unfortunately, today masks, symbol of the sanitary crisis, have acquired and have infused a completely different meaning in mask in general. Already in the 15th century, a type of face protection with a long beak, filled with aromatic herbs and sponge soaked in vinegar, was used by doctors during the plague and epidemics, as they believe it worked as a filter against the air bacteria. Later on, this type of mask became the outfit of theater character in the Italian Commedia dell'arte and very glamorous accessories of the Venice Carnival, transforming on an necessary tool in a fashion accessory. Today, face masks tell us many other stories as well too. Like the story of those fashion brands who were clever enough to use a world health crisis as a marketing tool by introducing design of face masks to solve a dizzying crisis to fashion victims, while hiding it behind their generous donation of branded medical gown or disinfectant gel to hospitals. Like the story of Ashley Lawrence, the student who organized a fundraiser for the production of masks partly made with transparent plastic for the benefit of the deaf who couldn't express their solidarity by producing face masks around the clock and distributing them for free to help for the shortage. This, for example, is not a cow muzzle mask, but a tool to reduce the greenhouse effect cows produce during their digestion process. Don't worry, it doesn't have anything to do with COVID-19. Our current field of vision is only focused on one subject, the pandemic. We are facing a struggle that involves the entire planet. It is true that in some parts of the world, peak contagion has been reached, but not in the most populated and least prepared areas. Even in the confinement strategy, it is proving to be useful The virus might easily spread again by asymptomatic carriers or through international travel. As the German President Steinmeier says, it is not a war, but a test of our humanity. 4.5 billion of people are confined or have limit to their movements. This atmosphere is far different from the last year Met Gala camp. In this new life, our free time and social relation management have radically changed. We are learning again to leave our homes. We take the time to look closely to a painting on our wall, read a book, or to work out to relieve the posture damage caused by working on our laptop. We are learning to fix, recycle, or reuse things instead of throwing them away. We realize how it is possible to take care of ourselves without the need of a gym membership or outdoor activities. We rediscover the pleasure of taking the time to sit down in a nice, in front of a nice home cooking meal, or just to listen to music and maybe dance as a form of stress relief. This week close situation is an opportunity to follow the advice of Marie Kondo. Our home has to be as welcoming as possible. Therefore, we must get rid of this useless object that clutters up, trying to give away in order to reduce the environmental impact, thus limiting the damage done by frivolous consumerism, not only in fashion. As they say in Japanese culture, an emptier house becomes more spacious. As written in the Japan Times, this quarantine has given the sea some respite. While fishermen are left at home and restaurants and hotels are closed, the marine fauna has finally been able to breathe again. In some areas of the world, killer whales and dolphins reappeared. However, it would take 20 years for the sea to get rid of all the damage caused by man. The reduction of industrial activities, machines, air flights, and the temporary closure of many businesses caused by lowering in CO2 emission by a quarter. Unfortunately, this positive change will probably be only a memory once the sanitary crisis comes to an end. As Dominique Strauss-Kahn has already suggested in 2009, we are not going back to the business as usual. In June, men's and women's British Fashion Week shows will be broadcasted on a digital platform open to professionals as well as to the public. In order to allow designers to sell their collection despite the current situation, it will be possible to follow podcast interviews and showroom from home. This model has already been tested in Moscow. Moreover, fashion shooting will be increasingly conducted on Zoom or FaceTime. The digital fashion week will certainly be in contrast with the past one on their luxurious nature, where the wow effect was mostly due to its breathtaking venue of the other side of the world, to allow only selected elite to admire the various cruise collections. Before, it was possible to surprise your customer with these unethical commercial strategies. Now, due to these unpredictable times, the promotional strategy needs to take a new turn and change the mean to attract attention. What is the best way to get noticed now? Social media is more than ever the best choice. For example, it is interesting how Victoria Beckham immediately seized the opportunity to draw the public attention times the promotional strategy and came the to attract
Сейчас все меняется. Сейчас внимание приходит к другим вещам.
is more than ever.
Прежде всего, события происходят в социальных
For
сетях, в
example,
социальных
It is
СМИ.
interesting how Victoria Beckham immediately seized
Вот
the
смотрите,
opportunity
Виктория
to draw the
Бекхэм,
public attention
она привлекает внимание общественности к проблеме вот таким образом.
have a problem with the translator. Hopefully, after the experience of the pandemic, we will go toward a more ethical fashion, a slower fashion, and a more durable one. Giorgio Armani recently dealt with this topic in a letter addressed to the fashion world, published on Old Social Network. The temporary closure of the borders might call into question the idea of globalization and lead to reconsider the local excellencies, and perhaps facilitate artisanal production, the homemade, the art of looms and hand embroidery, in order to preserve these techniques and their historical memory, which has been set aside for too long. A concept very close to the heart of Enzo Rosso, the CEO of Diesel brand. However, despite the hope we have in a rebirth of the artisanal fashion, many small-sized businesses will be forced to close as a consequence of the pandemic. With the current situation, the way we take care of our friendship will also has changed. The problem of distance and the lack of time no longer exists. It is easier to communicate with a friend who lives in Houston than with your neighbor. We meet for a drink on Zoom with people located in so many different continents. As we are forced to stay at home, we favor the use of comfortable clothes. We try to marry the comfortable with the stylish as much as we can, and after all, we still need to enjoy our own reflection in the mirror. Because of remote work and video meeting, some people might pay more attention to their upper body clothing style. In the past months, people have been pushed toward online shopping more than ever. Some people bought online for their first time. After this experience, shopping online, which still need to be fine-tuned, will become part of the everyday life. Apart from the main stores with capacity of resilience, many physical shops will probably close their doors and head toward a digital business model. This will cause for many people. In the current times, sneakers, which can be real fetish objects, are certainly a necessary part of wardrobe. Hopefully, all the brands will head soon toward the use of recyclable material for production. Moreover, after this sanitary crisis, the fashion industry will probably have to be more careful about the safety procedure. For example, fashion brand could start branding scarves, pullover or handwear with incorporated face mask, for example. However, environmentally friendly material will probably be the center of the future fashion production. People will increasingly conscious about what they buy and will pay more attention for their clothes fabric composition, like choosing skin-friendly product or buying secondhand, and will hopefully buy less. As Lee Edelkort states, the impact of outbreak will force into slowing down the pace. Suddenly, the fashion shows look bizarre and out of place. The travel ads that enter our computer space seem invasive and ridiculous. Every day, we question each system we have known since birth and are obliged to consider their possible demise. During this quarantine, that will probably continue for another few months, new trends will probably emerge on the basis of basic human health and environmental necessities. Personal care is currently a real luxury, and people are living it in a more self-sufficient way. For example, it is possible that because of the impossibility to go to the hairdresser, the next hair trend will be extremely long hair or shaved heads. In conclusion, on one hand, this confinement has moved us away from a life of celebration of the fatuous and ephemeral, as we are forced into the quarantine. The possibility to communicate through technology solves many problems. However, we hope this situation will not last too long because of the lack of contact and human warmth, fundamental for mental and emotional health, would make us increasingly more like robots and could lead to a loss in emotional sensitivity. We would definitely have to go back to the value proper to mankind. The frenetic overproduction of goods in the name of profit and the exploitation of people and of our planet's resources must be stopped. If there really is a desire in the fashion industry to take this opportunity and fix its long value fault, then I really hope it is true. Okay. Yes, I'm finished.
Огромное спасибо, Натали.
Thank you very
Мы
much,
очень
Natalie.
рады. И прежде
We are
чем
very
дать слово
glad
Марине, я
that
хотела
we
бы задать свой вопрос,
heard your
дорогой и любимой
presentation,
Натали.
but I would like to
Опиши
ask my question.
будущее модной индустрии, ограничившись всего 3 словами.
Well, how would you define the future of the fashion industry, limiting yourself to just
Finished.
3 words?
Огромное спасибо, Натали.
Thank you very much,
Мы очень
Natalie.
рады. И
We are very
прежде чем
glad.
дать
And before
свой вопрос,
I give the
дорогой и
floor
любимой
to
Натали,
Marina, I would like to ask a question. Yeah. So how would you define the fashion of industry using just how would you define the future of the fashion industry using just three
Да,
words?
да, я жду, Марина.
Повторить? Еще раз, я хочу задать вопрос Натали.
You can answer.
Опиши будущее модной индустрии, ограничившись всего 3 словами.
Yeah, so the question is, how would you define the future of the fashion industry using just three
Ho bisogno di
words?
una traduzione, però. I need a traduction. I don't need a traduction.
Да.
I don't hear the traduction.
I'm talking. Yeah. Да, сейчас сделаю. Ага. Так.
Да,
Ага, я
включила,
включила,
да.
да.
Вот,
Вот,
да,
да,
я
я
говорила
говорила
какое-то
все
время
это
в
время в
английский
английский
канал,
канал,
вот меня
вот
было
меня
не
было не
слышно.
слышно.
Вот.
В третий раз повторяю свой вопрос. Опишите будущее модной индустрии, ограничившись всего 3 словами.
Yeah. So how would you define the future of the fashion industry, limiting yourself to just three words?
Be more ethical.
Да, быть более этичным.
И второй вопрос тоже. Какие должны, по ее мнению, компании внедрять новые инструменты и стратегии?
Okay, in your opinion, what new instruments and strategies should companies launch? Should companies start to use?
I would say they have to produce not a lot. They have not to do so big productions of. I'm sorry, my English is not the best, but I would say that they have to produce. Comment dis-moi? Less.
Moins средства.
Less. They have to produce less and do not so many collections.
Я считаю, что компании должны производить меньше и не создавать такое большое количество коллекций.
Спасибо большое. Я полностью согласна с Натали. Спасибо за прекрасную презентацию. И я надеюсь, сейчас к нам присоединяется модератор 2, Екатерина. И у нас уже приготовляется третий наш спикер, уважаемый. Да. Да. И, конечно, сейчас ждем вопрос от Марины. Мариночка, только один вопрос, потому что мы ограничены во времени.
Как новая экономическая модель повлияет на покупателей? Станут ли вещи более доступными или наоборот, они станут дороже?
So how will the new economic model affect the consumers? Will clothes be more affordable or on the contrary?
I would say it would be better if the clothes were not so affordable. Alors, I would say that it is better if the clothes are expensive, so the people would buy less. And also for a second reason, that the people that in the fabric would be paid better.
Да, я бы сказала, что хорошо бы, если бы вещи стали стоить больше, то есть стали бы более дорогими, чтобы люди покупали меньше, и также работники фабрик получали больше зарплату.
Спасибо.
Спасибо огромное, Натали, за чудесную презентацию,
Thank you
подкрепленную
very much,
очень
Natalie, for your
живыми,
great presentation.
очень живыми иллюстрациями. И я надеюсь, что мы сможем увидеться не только виртуально, но и реально.
Yeah, so I
Сможем
hope that
увидеться реально.
we
И
will
я
get a
прошу
chance
второго
to
модератора,
see each other
Екатерина,
face to
включи свой
face.
микрофон, представь, пожалуйста, Сирпу.
Да, я
And now we
наконец-то
will
снова
have
с
our
вами.
new speaker,
Итак,
Sirpa.
мы готовы приветствовать Сирпу
We are
Ринанен,
ready to welcome
и ее сообщение будет на тему,
Sirpa,
что
and she
завтра
will
станет нормой.
speak about the
Мы
new
продолжим
rules
нашу
of
дискуссию,
life after
и рада приветствовать.
coronavirus.
Пожалуйста, слово предоставляется
What will
Сирпе Ринанен.
become the new normal?
Yes. 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 Is my presentation looks okay or not? Okay. Okay. Hello everyone. I'm Sirpa Riiranen from Savonlinna University from Kuopio, Finland, and I choose my topic the new rules of life after coronavirus, or more I think about there are more about new values of life after this all, and more thoughts and a lot of question marks what might be the new normal. And after this all, I think we are staying at home. We have to stay home, or and distant working is more than new normal. So our home is also our office, and that's why we want that our clothes make us feel also at home more self-confidence. And instead of going to the big, huge events, we prefer meeting friends in parks, forests, and seaside, and having picnics with our friends. Really? Oh. Okay. Can I continue? Yeah. Yes. And for fashion designers, they have to think about the materials. They have to be very comfortable and high quality. And the model of the clothes have to be cocooning, and you have to feel very soft in your clothes. And also get to somehow even the nature in your home, because you have to stay there more and more. And after this all, I think we are also living more online, and we are moving from physical world more to the digital world, where everything is possible. It could be a dream world, and let us escape into the fantasies. And for fashion designers, it means design 3D fashion online, and it means body scanning avatars and virtual reality techniques and XR make the experience feeling real. And after this everything, this coronavirus crisis, we want to stay safe, and after that we want to be situation, and we all also want and trust that our clothes are our shelter, and in those clothes they let you go almost anywhere, and for fashion design it maybe means more technical fabrics, smart textiles, but also healing materials and biofabrics are more important, maybe make of more milk, seaweed and herbs. And meaningful life, of course, means very different things for everyone. But I think after this all, we are aware more about our roots, and we prefer traveling in the neighborhoods. And there are a lot of things learned from the past, and we want the fashion must be more meaningful and with the true stories, and the design have to be really durable, and the materials they should last for decades, so long that we can think our clothes are our heritage. And here's a picture. This is fisherman's woolen knitted pullover, and this tradition in Finnish archipelago is over 200 years old. The five of these Finnish fishermen started to knit very durable knitted pullovers to their husbands, and they were so durable that if the fishermen drowned in the sea, the bodies could be recognized from this knitted pullover. And nowadays those pullovers are really popular within also Instagram and influencers and fashion bloggers and so on, because it's very good example of meaningful and really durable fashion. And of course this means in fashion design, natural materials and finishings, and overall we have to really remember that less is more. And here are just photo sources. So my presentation was really short, so thank you.
Спасибо большое, Сирпа. Мы очень рады, что нам удалось вот встретиться с вами
Thank
в
you
эфире,
very
и что вы нам
much,
предложили такой
Sirpa.
вот
We are very
скандинавский
glad
взгляд на
that you
проблемы,
offered this
да,
Scandinavian view to
которые,
us.
с которыми мы все столкнулись сейчас в мире. И,
And
возможно, у скандинавских стран есть какой-то
we are very
свой
glad that you have
специфический
shared
ответ, да, на
your
все вот эти
vision
темы, которые мы
regarding these
сегодня обсуждаем.
problems that we are all facing. Yeah.
Сейчас Люба...
У меня огромное тоже спасибо, Сирпе, но у нас тут идет жаркая дискуссия с публикой, и я хочу тоже задать от зрителей, да, вопросы Сирпе. Я надеюсь, сейчас Лиза, наш переводчик, сможет перевести. Вот Юлия Цыганова считает, что сейчас пришло, мы все неправильно делаем, пришло время искусства, а не одноразовых перчаток. Это само собой, никто искусство не отменял, и мода сродни искусству. Но тут можно пойти двумя путями. Никто не отменял осознанную моду. И я вот как раз хочу спросить и задать вопрос Сирпе. Что будет преобладать? Или это будет в каких-то равных пропорциях? осознанное потребление и такой некий карантин потребления, и люди будут носить экономическую, да, такую более такую вещь более экономического, да, такого склада, такой стрит-стайл, или все-таки мы будем носить одну вещь, но она будет класса люкс, очень дорогая, очень сделанная, или мы пойдем одинаково двумя путями. Вот как она видит наше дальше развитие.
Yeah, okay. So I would like, first of all, thank you, Sirpa, for your presentation. And we are having a very, very hot discussion with our audience now. And this discussion is about the future of fashion. So what do you think? What direction will fashion take? Will it be towards sort of sustainable fashion? Like mass market clothes that would be practical and economic, or will people tend to buy some luxury goods that would be durable, but still those would be like works of art? Or will those two directions develop and evolve? So what do you think?
I think the both directions may be both right. For me, I think maybe the mass fashion is a little bit over, and it's more local production and local design. And of course, everyone wants something very special, and that's why also the luxury fashion, which it's a very durable design and materials, and we need also that one, but by maybe every third year or something like that.
Да, я думаю, что оба направления, вот о которых вы сказали, будут развиваться. То есть, с одной стороны, массовая мода будет идти в направлении более экологичных материалов и, возможно, развитие местных производств, а мода люкс тоже будет присутствовать, потому что мы все хотим что-то особенное. И вот эта мода тоже будет развиваться как искусство. То есть какие-то, может быть, тоже будут ценности воплощаться новые в вот этих вот вещах, относящихся к группе люкс.
Спасибо большое. Мы еще вернемся ко всем нашим спикерам в конце нашей беседы. И Екатерина?
Да, я здесь. Сейчас, наверное, должна Марину, потому что она целый день задает очень интересные вопросы нашим спикерам. Марина, что мы вас приглашаем. Марина, приглашаем.
Да, я на связи. Большое спасибо. В таком случае, как будет выживать fast fashion, вот тот самый масс-маркет? Ведь он живет в основном за счет производства дешевого, если он все-таки должен остаться.
Yeah, so the question is, what about mass market? How will it survive? Because it survives by means of producing cheap goods. Will it survive or not? Will it stay or not?
No way, I hope so. The fashion must be much more sustainable and durable and more good for every human beings in this world, and we can't continue that way anymore. So mass fashion market must be die.
Я надеюсь, что нет, не выживет этот масс-маркет. Я считаю, что мода должна быть более экологичная, и я надеюсь, что вот мы в этом направлении будем двигаться. А вот это вот производство дешевых вещей, оно должно отмереть.
Спасибо большое, Сирпа. Тогда у меня в связи с этим еще один важный вопрос. Из-за масс-маркета мы практически потеряли средний уровень вещей в среднем диапазоне цен. Может ли средний класс вернуться на рынок?
Yeah. Okay. My other question is that because of this abundance of mass market things, we have almost lost the middle class sector. That can it come back? What do you think? Can it come back in the future?
Yes, good question. Maybe. That was really nice talk that when the mass market is going away, the middle class market could come back. Yeah,
Я
I thought about it yet. This is a new situation, but
Я считаю, что да, как бы хороший вопрос, что если у нас масс-маркет, вот это массовое производство уйдет, то да, место освободится для вот этого сектора среднего класса. И, конечно, мы не можем сказать на 100%, но я думаю, что так будет происходить.
Спасибо.
Да. Спасибо большое, Мариночка. Ждем в конце еще вопросов. И сейчас мы... Спасибо огромное Сирпе за то, что она... Каждый дает свой взгляд, и север, и юг, и наша Россия, да, это очень важно. И сейчас мы переходим уже к четвертому нашему спикеру, дорогой Любе Поповой, которая уже на протяжении очень многих лет давала мастер-классы в Санкт-Петербурге и дает тоже на Игле, член международного жюри Адмиралтейской иглы многие-многие годы. И я думаю, что очень важно, что и она думает об этой тематике, насколько мы сможем сейчас восстановить наши гуманистические ценности и что для нас будет в ближайшее уже время важно, друзья. Мы же не будем все время сидеть в этих клетках, мы скоро выйдем на свободу. И как мы будем жить дальше?
Люба, еще у нас осталась тема, которую мы, по-моему, сегодня не осветили.
Да, Катя, я тебя... Пока там у нас настройка идет каких-то космических каналов.
Мы настраиваем рабочий стол, а пока, наверное, можно сказать, что наше событие, оно не...
Не вижу. Вы видите?
В течение 7
пропало.
Прекрасный конкурс для молодых дизайнеров, и за неделю они должны будут ответить на очень важный вопрос. Должны будут создать одну модель, создать стильное, оригинальное своей работы и выложить фотографии с уникальным хэштегом в Инстаграм. Результат мы увидим уже 5 мая. А теперь, наверное, все у нас хорошо, да, и мы можем приветствовать...
А ты сказала хэштег уникальный? Сказала уникальный хэштег?
Да, хэштег игла дизайн, нижнее подчеркивание, онлайн 2020. И с отсылкой дизайн онлайн.
И сейчас, я повторяю еще раз, мы заждались уже, у нас выступает Люба Попова с презентацией, которая называется «Новые коды после коронавируса. Направление в области дизайна и потребления моды». Любочка, тебе слово.
Я очень рада участвовать в вашем мероприятии и постараюсь проиллюстрировать некоторые соображения, которые вышли, так сказать, в разных мнениях специалистов за последнее время. Уже свыше 2 месяцев, как мы живем в карантине, и поэтому стало совершенно очевидным, что многие системы и многие наши образы жизни необходимо пересмотреть. Например, крупные торговые центры пришлось закрыть.
For
Доступ к
example, big
супермаркетам это означает
supermarkets
длинные очереди и означает
have
опасность скопления
queues,
покупателей.
and people
В
are
разных
afraid
странах эта
to
ситуация
come
может быть
close to each
разной,
other.
но это
It
общее
is a little bit
направление. И
different in
самая
different
большая
countries,
сейчас
but
забота
this
это о
is
том,
the
чтобы
same
избежать контактов,
direction.
избежать
We
передачи
care
инфекции
for
от одного человека зараженного к другим
eliminating unnecessary
незараженным. Поэтому
contacts.
вот
We care
именно эти
for
большие магазины и
avoiding
очереди
transmission of
оказались тем
infection.
самым неправильным местом, где как раз инфекция и передается.
And
В
this infection
результате
is often
наблюдается
transmitted
такое
in shops.
направление, что мы, по крайней мере, в Италии все
In Italy,
меньше стали встречать не
we
крупных магазинов, а местных, районных
yeah
магазинов в
we
кварталах,
tend
которые
to
специализируются каждый на своем. Там
go to
есть
small
какой-то особый
shops
хлеб,
rather
еще
than
что-то и
big
так далее. И вот
supermarkets.
сейчас мы
In each
почувствовали,
part
как
of the
это было
city, there
неправильно,
are these
потому что даже с
bakeries,
точки
there are
зрения
these
финансовой
grocery stores,
большие
and
помещения
before
означают
these
большие
shops
потери.
were not
Это и
popular.
аренды, это и
People went
стоимость
to the
персонала,
supermarket.
отопления,
Now
электроэнергии,
people are
дезинфекции, и
afraid.
что все
They
это
don't want
намного
to
дороже,
visit
чем
these
магазины с
huge
малой
spaces.
площадью и с меньшим количеством
And
персонала. В результате я вспомнила об одной очень известной книге экономиста
I remembered
Эрнста
a
Фридриха
very
Шумахера
famous book
«Small is
of
Beautiful».
Ernst
Эта книга
Friedrich
известна во
Schumacher,
всем мире,
Small is
опубликована была
Beautiful.
в
This book was
1973
published
году,
in
тоже период
1973.
непростой был,
It was
не
not
вирус,
an
но
easy time
экономический
either.
кризис. Но
And
по-русски это
in
можно
his
перевести
book, he
«мало» —
said
это
that
хорошо. И
today
очень актуально все
we are
это читается
subject
сегодня.
to
Цитирую
this
книжку. Сегодня мы подвержены почти
subject to
повсеместному
this
поклонению гигантизму. Поэтому необходимо настаивать на
gigantic
достоинствах малого масштаба, по
values,
крайней мере там,
and
где
we
это
have to
возможно.
insist
Касаясь
on the
моды, это
dignity of
особенно
small
очевидно.
scale, the dignity of small
Развелись
size,
очень
and we
крупные
have to
торговые
insist on
центры,
it
моллы.
wherever it is possible.
Гигантизм означает тоже кучу
What does
магазинов.
this
Одна и
mean?
та же фирма открывает 5-6
Gigantism.
магазинов в одном и том
Huge
же городе, причем
shops,
все
big
огромные,
malls,
потому что это служит для имиджа марки.
and
Но
big
сегодня этот
brands are
путь
present there, but I
крупных
think that today
крупных
this way
торговых
of
заведений
big
оказывается не
shopping
рентабельным,
malls
а убыточным.
is not
И
economically
малый
efficient,
масштаб, вот именно
and
малое,
the
это
small
хорошо, сегодня
size
вернулось
becomes
опять
more topical. Small becomes
как идея.
beautiful.
Поэтому я вспомнила тоже свои интервью с некоторыми
I
бельгийскими
once
дизайнерами,
interviewed
известными,
designers
очень
from
талантливые,
Belgium.
Жан-Поль Нот,
It
Кристоф
was
Копен и
Jean-Paul
другие.
Naud, Christophe
Когда я
Cafe, and
задавала им
some
вопрос,
others,
почему
and I
ваша
asked them,
креативность пользуется таким успехом, что вас
why
приглашают
are you so
как
popular?
арт-директоры великие парижские
И
дома кутюра и так
some
далее. И
Paris
все они отвечали
couture
таким образом: мы
houses
работаем
invite
в
you as
небольшом
art director,
масштабе,
and the
и
answer
благодаря
was,
этому
we work
позволяем
on a
себе
small
много
scale, and
экспериментировать, рисковать.
we can
Поэтому если одна
afford a
коллекция
lot
не
of
получит
experiment.
успеха на
If
рынке,
one
мы не
collection
обанкротимся, затянем
is
ремень
not
потуже и постараемся
successful
сделать
enough, we
лучше
won't
в
run
следующем
bankrupt.
сезоне.
So we
Сегодня это
experiment again
абсолютно
and again,
необходимо.
and
Не
today
выпускать
this becomes
огромное
topical.
количество
This becomes
вещей в
the
каждой
trend.
коллекции,
Instead
а
of
наоборот
producing huge
сократить
amounts
масштабы,
of clothes
учитывая
in each
создавшуюся
collection, we have
ситуацию.
to
И
reduce
самое
our
главное — это
dimensions,
быть
reduce
способными
the
приспосабливаться
amount
к
of
непредвиденным
things being
обстоятельствам.
produced,
Речь
and we
идет
have
о
to become more
гибкости,
flexible.
flexibility. Это то, что сегодня совершенно
The
необходимо,
ability to
чтобы
get
выжить.
used to the new
Поэтому
situation in a
лучше
short period of
ориентироваться на
time.
малое, чем на
So we have to
крупное.
look at small
Посмотрите, вот
things,
мы
to value
видели
small
в
things,
первом выступлении
and
тренды
in the
на
first
только что
speech, some trends
начавшийся спрос на лето.
were
Ничего
mentioned,
это не
the trends of this
подзаложено
fashion
абсолютно.
trends.
Уже
I think that this
марки,
won't be
многие, которые
sold.
получили
A lot of
заказ
brands
на
that
на
received
производство
orders to
какого-то количества
produce
вещей всех
some
этих
amount of
коллекций, они их не
outfits
производят. То есть
are not
фактически
producing them.
производство
So I think that this production of this spring-summer season um, is cancelled, is being cancelled and will be cancelled. So we have to pass to producing something for the fall-winter season. Summer will not be sold. So we have to think about fall and winter and produce something in smaller quantities. A renowned expert from Italy, he works with very big groups. It's Marcello Totora. He speaks about 5 strategic directions, 5 strategies. The first is online presentation and collection shows, reduction of travels, and I think that he means not just China, but also Asia, because we know that this is the part of the world where most brands have their production sites, and now it's becoming a problem. The second thing is the reduction of salespeople. If we have fewer consumers, we don't need to have a lot of stuff being sold, and we do not need to have a lot of staff. We do not need to have a lot of personnel. We need to have few people, and hygiene should be observed in a strict way. This is very important. If a shop doesn't follow the rules of hygiene, customers won't come. The third thing is that we have to produce sustainable collections. This is the new shopping philosophy. It's a new approach to consumption. Durable clothes will be in demand, and these clothes should not be subject to short-term trends. The time has come to slow down. We have to keep to real fashion instead of fast fashion. Some specialists say that fast fashion will be the victim of this situation, the principal victim of this situation. Now we are speaking about quality, we are speaking about durability, and this is something opposite to fast fashion. Fashion brands should interpret the desire to feel comfortable and feel good. We put on something not because of some whim, but we are more conscious, we are more serious when choosing what to put on, what to wear. We need to increase the brand reputation. Communication should be detailed and specific. It should respond to the real needs of the market. What do I mean by this brand reputation? There is this overproduction of fashion items all around the world, and it's hard to say who does what and who has what advantages. Our communication should show that this is us. We use these materials, we use these processes of our production, we are ethical with respect to our labor force. The consumer has to be attracted by this communication, by this explanation of what is going on. Brands that have no character, that have no recognizable nature, that have no peculiarity will go away. Brands should not lose their contact with consumers. They should address the consumers, the bloggers, the influencers and followers. And this will be the new model of marketing. This is what Philip Kotler said. He's an expert. Well, we have contact with consumers, and we have had those for quite a long time. We have had online communications, but the positive attitude towards a brand and the perception of identity with this brand is very important. It should become another strategy. And this fifth strategy is titled omni-channel retail. It means we serve the customers both online and offline. There should be both the internet and the physical shops. Shops should be both in the virtual space and in the real space. Maybe shops will become not really shops, but some spaces where someone can try something on, and they won't be such an accumulation, such big heaps of outfits in shops. They will serve just as fitting rooms. Individual orders will come back. Personal shoppers could get access to a fashion stylist, and I think that this will be more developed in the future. Now let's speak about the prospects. Experts say that in the new economy, the consumption of clothes will go down. The purchasing capacity, the purchasing power will go down too. A lot of people have lost their funds because of this crisis. Let me give an example. In Amsterdam, prices for apartments have been growing during the recent years, and as banks give mortgage at a low percentage, a lot of people have concluded these contracts with bank for these long-term mortgages, and now all of these apartments that people got, and for what they took this 20-year-old mortgage, the prices for all of these apartments have fallen. Because a lot of people have lost their apartments. They are unable to pay their mortgages, and well, if there is this situation, sometimes there is no possibility to think about clothes and outfits. So priorities have changed. We need to offer different forms and shapes and sizes and do it in the correct way. If, for example, we offer some narrow dresses, it is quite difficult to sell it online because it needs to be tried on before it gets bought. So I think that some wider, some looser clothes will become trendy, so that the customer doesn't need to change it when he or she gets it online. And there is this trend between students and professionals that you put on some some nice clothes before you go to your online class or to your online office. You don't wear your bathrobe, but you wear your work clothes. What about this fashion? Fashion in working from home? Working from home is becoming more and more widespread. So what should these clothes be like? On the one hand, those are comfortable clothes, but on the other hand, the wider our contacts get, the more we value our appearance. We understand, we realize that a lot of people see us, and when fashion emerges, it starts with this perception that you are being looked at. Fashion started in the Renaissance time in Italy, and it started because of this planning of Italian cities around La Piazza, the main square of the city. This was the place where people from different ends of the city would come. The local prince may come there, the merchants would come there, everyone would come there, and this was the place where people were looked at. Today, we also have our piazza, our main square. It has moved to the online space, but still we have the same needs. Still, we are looked at and we realize it. This is an example. Marina Rinaldi, she launched a collection, um, fashion for working from home. Comfortable clothes, and at the same time nice clothes, fancy clothes. What is the difference between a human being and animals? A human being can dream, and emotional incentive, it is one of the reasons why we buy something. So despite of all these crises, despite of all of these financial difficulties, we will still have these emotions. I would like to quote Oscar Wilde in this respect. He said, "Take me off the necessarily, but leave me the superfluous." We need the superfluous, and this is what we choose and this is what we buy, not because we need it, but because it has to do with our emotional state, it has to do with our desires, very personal, very individual desires. So the task of the designers to create not just necessary clothes, but give us the chance to dream. What about fashion shows? What will it be like after the quarantine is over? For buyers, virtual showrooms have already been invented. In June, there would be some joint shows of female and male collections. This will be online, and for the coming 12 months, all of these will be on the gender neutral platform. So next year we will not have male fashion shows. Designers will have more freedom. They will have a chance to calm down. London is organizing a new cultural platform, londonfashionweek.co.uk. And here it won't be just clothes, but there will also be webinars, interviews, virtual showrooms. So customers will be in close contact with the world of those who create this fashion, who draws something, who sews something, etc. Milan, Paris, and New York have cancelled their shows in June. What will be in Paris in September? So far, it's a question. Saint Laurent have said that they won't organize anything, only online. The fast fashion is on decline. All of these, useless gadgets, statues and everything, people are not buying that. People don't need it. And another trend I would like to mention is the relocation of production, the coming back of this production to Europe. So items are produced not somewhere far away, but right here. And it is also true about agriculture. For example, in Italy, the agriculture does not satisfy all of the needs of the Italian population. And if these summer and fall collections probably will probably not be shown, brands are still evolving, are still inventing things. For example, Gucci and Valentino have opened their centers for elaborating prototypes for the future. Now I'd like to give some examples of costumes invented for some unusual situations. Well, every time when we come across some important events, the fashion industry responds to it. For example, when people went to space, space style was developed in fashion. When we became aware of the environmental crisis, more environmentally friendly fabrics became trendy. If we look at Japan, after earthquakes, Kosuke Tsumura created his final home brand, by which he means clothes for extreme conditions. Today, the basic requirement is to provide for a distance between individuals so that this distance is not more than 1 meter. This should be provided for in transport, in the streets, and inside. Well, actually, in real life, they say that it is next to impossible, but it is considered that it should be done. Now I would like to share some pictures of costumes having to do with some extreme situations. Well, this is Aelita, a film made in 1924. You see these antennas on top of the girl's head. Actually, it is the same what we are trying to introduce using our mobile phones. Those are locators. They help other people locate you so that everyone is aware where you are. This is another example from this movie, Aelita. You see helmets, you see masks, some kind of body protection. Well, here there are some images of aliens, and as well these dreams, these thoughts about what aliens may look like have become a thing adopted by the fashion. So here you see something taken from spacesuits. Here you can see a transparent mask, because first cosmonauts didn't know if there are any bacteria or viruses in space, so they would wear these masks. Here there are Pierre Cardin hats, like it's a combination of a hat and a mask. So a lot of fantasies. Here I would like to show you this picture for contrast. This is this protective clothes, but I want to ask a question. Are we going to keep wearing such protective, boring clothes? I think that we have to keep to our dreams. We have to preserve some fantasy, preserve some space for entertainment and dream. Speaking about this distancing between people and the distance of 1 meter between people, I would like to remind you these tales of women's dresses. In the past times, it used to be a barrier that would not let someone approach a lady. As well, wide shoulders and wide sleeves can work for the same purpose, and as well, probably inflatable elements of outfits could be used, as they would increase our volume, increase our dimensions. Here you can see the Russian avant-garde pictures. The artist is Alexandra Exter. She invented clothes for the film, which I have quoted, this Aelita film. I would like to finish saying that we need fantasy, we need some distraction from this crisis. Hussein Chalayan, a designer, look what he invented. This sort of skirt that can be folded and unfolded. Here it's another form of dress. You can increase your size and you can decrease it. This is the 19th century dress. And actually this is the same idea of distancing that you see in it. This is another one. Today Vivienne Westwood also has it in her collection. So this is this dress from the Brussels Museum, and today the designer Olivier Tesquin, he also introduces this crinoline for today's condition. It's not very stiff, but still it increases the distance between your body and the others. Other designers also implement this idea of the crinoline. These are the works of our students, so you see it's a feast of fantasy, a feast of imagination, and all of this embodies the idea of distancing. Okay, so here you have another sort of outfit which is becoming popular. This is a mantle. In this picture, it is combined with a mask. Well, again, big volumes, big sleeves. They keep other people from approaching us too close. Here again, yeah, a big volume in shoulders, big volume in sleeves. This is lacambre. Such clothes are actually very comfortable because they are soft, because they are light, and at the same time they help to isolate you from others. Here you have Walter van Beerendonk's invention. These are coats, yeah, that preserve their shape. It's like windbreaker coats. Now let's look at this picture. Those are helmets by Walter van Beerendonck from Belgium. He's director of the famous fashion school. He always implements his sense of humor. If we need to wear masks, if we have to wear helmets, let's play. Let's invent something fantastic. This is another item designed by him. It includes a mask. Well, you can breathe through this mask, you can see through it. Now let's look at this one. Iris van Herpen. She created such an outfit using 3D printing. And the last example, this is from Kosuke Tsumura in his final home project. He designed clothes. Yeah, let's watch this video. He designed these clothes for extreme conditions. Okay, so thank you. These are some images from this Kosuke Sumura project. He uses this pliable material. It provides thermal isolation and serves for this purpose of distancing. If you're interested, you can look online for Kosuke Tsumura. he did these things that can be transformed, cloaks and coats with multiple pockets, that makes it possible for a person to isolate themselves and increase your size. So in case of some earthquake or some other catastrophe, you can carry whatever you need with you, and newspapers, serve as good thermal isolation. So this is an example of how one outfit can carry a huge arsenal of the necessary things. Here I would like to finish, and well, a lot of talks are held now about the lifestyle in the future. They say that big restaurants will become history because people are afraid to be somewhere with other people around. So home delivery will become more popular, more and more popular, and it costs less than eating out. So this is a sort of solution to this financial problem. The structure of cities will also probably be revised because megapolises showed that they become the most dangerous foci of infection. So cities should be reorganized. Neighborhoods should become self-sufficient with post offices and restaurants and shops and whatsoever, so that people move around walking and keep a distance. Yeah, so it is important for these essential places to be within a walking distance. In this way, we should avoid transport, traffic jams, millions of people getting very close to one each other, commuting. In Milan, new bike tracks are being constructed. 30 to 35 kilometers of bike tracks will be added in Milan. Thank you very much, Luba. And we have been looking forward to listening to your presentation, because you always give us such a broad outlook on this fashion industry, and yeah, you used to share these very interesting visions before the crisis. And now let us invite Marina to ask some questions. Well, we have time for just one question, because we need to leave some time for questions to all of our speakers. So I would like to thank Luba for your very interesting examples, and it is very interesting to see how you visualize ideas, how you show us the embodiment of different feelings and different ideas. I think, well, it is not only about Luba, it's about all of our speakers. They all showed us very interesting, memorable examples. Well, I'm very interested about the amount of collections released. Now it's twice a year that some collections are released. This year is a sort of timeout, but what will it be next year? How often will new collections be released? Well, I would correct you, because if we speak about pret-a-porter, it's not about 2 collections a year, but 8. But you are right, no one needs it anymore. the amount of collections will go down. There'll be some small series, and what is my forecast for the future? Well, nobody knows what will happen after this year. Everyone has fears that once all of these restaurants and transport is open, falsity of infection will emerge again. In Germany, they are talking about it because they have started opening places, and very very fast the amount of newly infected people rose. So it will be a long story, everyone understands it. So I think that nothing much will change in the fashion industry within the next year. And further, no one knows.
Спасибо большое, Любочка. И вот я
Okay,
хочу
Luba,
сказать, пока
thank
у
you
нас
very
буквально
much.
несколько минут, поскольку
We
наша
have
конференция называется «Восстановление гуманистических
very
ценностей в
few
мире
minutes
в
left.
моде».
Our
Я
conference
хотела
is
бы задать
titled
вопрос всем
Restoration
четырем
of
спикерам.
Humanistic Values, and I would like
Это
to add
Люба
this question to
Костецкая,
our four speakers.
Натали и
Mhm,
Кристина.
mhm.
Какие ценности вы как дизайнеры, как историки моды, как аналитики открыли для себя в этом карантине? Что для вас стало более интересным, более вечным, самым ценным и важным? Вот я прошу помочь нам нашего переводчика Елизавету перевести
Yeah.
это.
Okay, okay. So my question is, during this quarantine, what values have you opened for yourself as designers, as historians of fashion, and as just people? Like, what have you drawn your attention to? What values are have become more important, in your opinion, at this time?
Кому отвечать?
Любочка,
А,
прошу.
Думаю, что самые главные ценности – это, безусловно, здоровье, окружающая среда, правильные критерии производства, не перепроизводство, не выбрасывание вещей, а правильное умное планирование и производство того, что нам необходимо и с точки зрения одежды, и с точки зрения интерьера и пищи вообще. То есть мы стали более серьезными. На глупости уже у нас нет ни времени, ни денег, поэтому надо быть серьезными. И очень важна экологическая проблема, потому что ученые обнаружили, что есть связь между загрязнением воздуха и распространением вируса. Вот, например, почему в самых индустриальных областях Италии, это Пьемонт и Ломбардия, самое высокое количество заболевших, потому что здесь сосредоточены фабрики, сосредоточено автомобильное движение с выхлопными газами. И здесь это сочетание вредной среды и вируса оказалось очень-очень критическим. Так что мы будем думать об экологии, и об этом уже идет речь. Сажать больше деревьев, организовывать открытые места, на которых люди могут общаться. То есть не общаться, например, внутри кафе, внутри ресторанов, а на тротуарах, то есть выйти на улицу на открытом месте. Это новое направление.
Yeah. Okay.
Если
Yeah. I am translating. Yeah. So, well, speaking about values, I would say that the most important value today is health and well-being, and as well smart production. I would say that we need to care more about how production is organized, how people are treated in the process of this production, and as well the attitude towards the environment. It is not an accident that the most populated cities and cities with a lot of industrial sites have become the centers of the epidemic. And this is what has to be revised.
И, наверное, мы попросим...
Спасибо. А теперь надо попросить Сирпу Рянин ответить нам.
Okay, so yes, I am.
Я тогда повторю еще раз вопрос. Пускай наши уважаемые спикеры еще раз его прослушают. Какие самые важные ценности они открыли для себя за время вот этой пандемии?
Да-да. Yeah. So the question is, what are the values that you have opened for yourself during this quarantine? What has become topical for you as a designer and as a historian of fashion and as a person?
So are you asking for me?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. So for me and in Finland, the nature is now much more valuable and important than before. Of course, they are always for us. And maybe going back to the basics also in fashion design and with I'm a lecturer, a teacher, so with also the students, of course, maybe also we are all the time working distance teaching and learning, so maybe that's why also going back to the basics and the value and meaning and stories of everything are more available than before. Did I answer your question at all?
Да, я, значит, хочу сказать, что в Финляндии большую ценность приобрела природа, то есть мы стали больше ценить нашу природу. И также есть такая тенденция, как возврат к истокам, к основам, и это проявляется и в мире моды, и также, например, в процессе онлайн-коммуникации. Я сама лектор, и мы сейчас онлайн встречаемся с моими студентами, и тоже мы вот говорим об этом, что вот людям требуется возврат к каким-то основным исконным ценностям и приобретает значение вот это вот, допустим, рассказывание каких-то историй, общение тоже становится ценностью.
Спасибо большое, Сирпа. Thank you.
Thank you.
И у меня сейчас вопрос, этот же вопрос Натали.
And I have the same question to Natalie. The question about the values, like what do you think are the most important values at this moment of the quarantine?
Okay, I will use not so many words because my English is what it is. But I would say more respect for the life, reduction of consumerism, and timeless fashion. That means that you don't have to change all the time.
Да, я буду краткой в моем ответе. Я скажу, что это уважение, как бы больше уважения к жизни мы испытываем. Также другая ценность – это сокращение потребления и тоже возврат к каким-то ценностям, настоящим ценностям.
Merci beaucoup. Merci, Натали. И я хочу тоже этот же вопрос адресовать Ирине, потому что это все очень личностные вопросы, которые волнуют каждого из нас.
А вы знаете, очень хороший вопрос. И вот сегодня, когда я слушала презентации других спикеров, выступления и ответы их на этот вопрос, вы знаете, мы действительно очень во многом перекликаемся. У нас очень похожее вот именно видение, несмотря на какие-то особенности, да, живем в разных странах и так далее. Но вот главное и ключевое для нас, что мы действительно сумели вместе, может быть, благодаря этому кризису, вот остановилась та самая гонка сверхпотребления, о которой мы говорили. Потому что даже та же основательница агентства Trend Union, она тоже говорила о том, что слишком у нас индустрия моды слишком много производит. Вот есть такая цифра, которая приводит, что до половины всех товаров, которые поступают в супермаркеты, они не продаются. И они, соответственно, их вынуждены утилизировать и так далее. И вот то, что вот эта вот гонка сверхпотребления остановилась, и не только из-за кризиса, а благодаря нашему с вами ответственному потреблению, вот этого действительно очень важно. Поэтому если говорить про те ключевые черты, которые сейчас нас карантин выявил и кризис в целом, это ответственность каждого из нас. Помните такой слоган этого карантина: «Никогда так не было легко спасти мир, просто оставаясь на диване». Вот. Но в любом случае мы с вами будем делать правильные действия после выхода из кризиса. Это первый момент. Второй, то, что мы действительно стали больше ценить друг друга, стали больше уважать личное пространство друг друга и понимать, что мы вот по сути очень сильно зависим, с одной стороны, друг от друга, а с другой стороны у нас есть возможность общаться, вот, несмотря на какие-то там дистанции, расстояния между нами. И третий момент, и очень важный, и основной, вот я бы посоветовала всем нам, и дизайнерам, и специалистам, работающим в индустрии моды, это творчество. Вот то самое креативити, то самое творчество, умение что-то создавать, это как раз то, что нас очень сильно отличает от искусственного интеллекта и объединяет как людей. Вот, наверное, наши такие ключевые ценности и главные уроки этого карантина лично для меня. Спасибо.
Да, я могу перевести. Да, значит, okay. Yeah, I have to translate it into English. Yeah, so, yeah. Well, I think that in this quarantine time, due to this crisis, we have stopped this overproduction and overconsumerism, because half of the products that got to supermarkets used to be dumped, like it was not sold, and it was produced in vain. Now we have come to a stop, and this stop makes us think about other values, makes us think about such values as communication, such values as treating each other with more respect, the value of this personal privacy and personal space that we have to respect. So the final and probably the most important thing that I would like to advise to all of us is that we have to keep creating. We have to keep creating things that make us different from AI and robots and stuff like that.
Спасибо большое, огромное, Елизавете. Спасибо большое всем спикерам. Екатерина, тебе слово. Модератор 2.
Да, итак, для нас сегодня, как мы выяснили в ходе этой дискуссии, открылись вместе со сложностями, открылись и возможности. Да? Это самый главный, наверное, результат нашего сегодняшнего общения, что возможность кооперироваться, создавать новые концепции и в итоге придавать культурную и историческую ценность своей деятельности, это, наверное, то, что мы можем как представители рода человеческого. Да? Большое спасибо всем, кто выступил сегодня с такими замечательными презентациями. И так как наша дискуссия подходит к концу, мы бы хотели поблагодарить прежде всего университет промышленных технологий и дизайна, и также лабораторию проектов Санкт-Петербургского государственного промышленного университета промышленных технологий и дизайна, которая занимается изучением новых перспектив нашего развития рынков NTI FashionNet, и российско-финский проект Contents for Cross-Cultural Events, который также дает нам возможность взаимодействовать на международном уровне, обсуждать проблемы в сфере такого многообразного профессионального сообщества и искать решения для всех насущных проблем, с которыми мы сегодня столкнулись.
А я, наверное, подхвачу инициативу и поблагодарю студию Дениса Золотова, благодаря которой мы сегодня все сидим с вами и общаемся с уважаемыми нашими зрителями. И, конечно, хочу еще раз благодарить Ирину Каримову, баронессу Натали фон Тофенштайн, Сирпу Рянин, Любу Попову, всех многочисленных зрителей, неравнодушных людей, любителей моды, профессионалов, коллег, всех, кто был с нами эти 2 часа. И мы очень ждем вас на финале конкурса Fashion Stream «Переосмысление реальности» уже 5 мая. Я думаю, будет не только интересно, но будет и жарко, потому что это правда будет в первый раз. А всех наших дорогих профессиональных спикеров, экспертов мы очень ждем. Голос садится
and we are
волнение.
waiting for
Мы
you
очень ждем
at
в
this
ноябре. Я
event.
надеюсь, что Адмиралтейская игла,
And I
несмотря
hope that the
на новые
Admiralty
условия
Needle,
жизни, широко
despite of
распахнет
these new
свои
conditions of
объятия,
life,
и мы
will
будем
be
рады
able
видеть
to
у нас
accept
в
all of
Петербурге
you
всех
in St.
профессионалов. Спасибо.
Petersburg in fall. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye to everybody. До свидания, спасибо.
Thanks so much to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Чао-чао.
Thank you,
Марина,
everyone.
спасибо большое.